Shem Hashem Nasim Nasliach. Shabbat Emor, Parasha Emor. On a surface level, Parasha Emor deals with structured and legal systems within Am Yisrael. But Kabbalistically, it's really about how human beings become vessels for divine presence, how form, discipline, and time shape consciousness. The first notion we encounter in a parasha is that of holiness as structured consciousness. Indeed, the restrictions placed on the priests, the Kohanim, are not just social hierarchy, they symbolize a state of heightened awareness or consciousness. A priest therefore represents a person who lives closer to the source and therefore must maintain a more strict level of boundaries. Kabbalistically, this suggests A. The closer one gets to transcendence, the more refined one's inner state must be, and B. Not all forms of contact, i.e., with death, chaos, or disorder, or misalignment, are compatible with sustained spiritual clarity. Thus, purity laws are here less about physical contaminations and more about energetic coherence, keeping one's consciousness aligned with life, order, and presence. The second notion is that of the body as a symbol of inner integrity. The requirement that priests be physically unblemished is often troubling if read literally, but symbolically, it points to wholeness of being. Kabbalistically, a blemish represents fragmentation, inner contradiction, misalignment with intention and action. Hence, the Kabbalistic teaching here isn't one of exclusion. It's about the idea that A. Divine service requires integration, and B. In order to channel something unified, as is the divine, the self must strive towards unity. This isn't about perfection, but about alignment of inner faculties. The third notion, sacred time. The Chagim, festivals, appear here as cosmic rhythm. In Emor, the listing of festivals, Shabbat, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, etc., shifts the focus from people to time itself. In this part of the parasha, time becomes the primary medium of holiness. Kabbalistically, time is not neutral. Time has texture, cycles, and openings. Each Chag, festival, corresponds to a different spiritual frequency or archetypal moment. For example, Shabbat represents stillness and return to origins. Pesach represents liberation and breaking constraints. Shavuot represents revelation and integration of wisdom. Sukkot represents impermanence and trust in the unseen. The idea is that holiness is not only something you achieve, it is also something you enter. The fourth notion, speech as creative power, Emor, means say. The title Emor itself points to speech. In a Kabbalistic sense, speech is not just communication, it is creation. Language shapes reality. Naming, blessing, and declaring create spiritual structure. The laws being spoken to the priests reflect the idea that order is brought into existence through articulation, through conscious expression. The fifth notion, the blasphemer, misuse of divine language. At the end of the parasha, there is a story about someone who blasphemes the divine name. This seems abrupt, but Kabbalistically, It is the counterpoint to Emor. Say, if speech creates reality, then misusing sacred language disrupts reality. Disharmony in speech reflects disharmony in consciousness. This teaches that words are not neutral. They either align with truth or distort it. The sixth notion, light and bread, sustaining the divine presence. The menorah, light, and the showbread in the sanctuary symbolize two ongoing processes. A, light, equals awareness and illumination. B, bread, equals sustenance and continuity. Together, they represent the balance between A, insight and embodiment, and B, spirit and material life. Kabbalistically, they suggest that divine presence is sustained not by one moment of revelation, but by continuous tending. In conclusion, Parashat Emor is not just about rules. It's about creating conditions where the infinite can be experienced within the finite. It presents a model where the body is a vessel, time becomes a gateway, speech is a tool of creation, and discipline a path to transcendence. Shabbat Shalom.